Well, good morning, everybody. Hope you're having an amazing and blessed day. Hope everything is going well with you. Here we are, Friday, getting ready for the weekend. Hope you got something fun planned. And we are continuing on in Galatians 3, chapter 3, verses 15 and 18 in the Message Bible. And this is pretty cool. We start getting into the legal stuff that Paul likes to kind of drop in. So here we go, verses 15. Friends, let me give you an example from everyday affairs of the free life I am talking about. Once a person's will has been signed, no one else can annul it or add to it. Now, the promises were made to Abraham and his descendant. You will observe that Scripture, in the careful language of legal document, does not say descendants. So this is interesting. This is fascinating. Here we go. Referring to everybody in general, but to your descendant. The noun note is singular, referring to Christ. This is the way I interpret this. A will, earlier signed by God, is not annulled by an addendum attached 430 years later, thereby negating the promises of the will. No, this addendum, with its instructions and regulations, has nothing to do with the promised inheritance in the will. Okay, so what he is saying is that God made a promise to Abraham about his descendant. Okay, and just because Moses came with the law later, 430 years later, and brought the law, doesn't change the will and the intention of what was signed at first. Does that make sense? The promise to Abraham was that he would have a great nation from his seed. And it says descendant. And so we are talking about Jesus. Jesus is the descendant of Abraham, and all the promises flow through him, and that everything would be made right by him. And that is the key. Just because there was the law that was 430 years later to hold the people together in righteousness doesn't annul the actual original will. And that's the will and testament of God. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. It's pretty clear that the law is good. God intended the law. And as we keep reading on in the later verses here, he describes the law a little bit better as a tutor. But the law is a good thing, but it was not intended to get people right with God. It wasn't intended to make them whole. It was intended to keep a nation of people, a people group, righteous enough to bring the seed of Abraham into fruition. The seed of Abraham, which is Jesus, into fruition. And that is the point of the law. And that is the point of the time from Abraham to Jesus. And it was a long time, and there was a lot of stuff happened. But if you look through the entire Old Testament, there is a strain of people that believe God all the time, generation after generation after generation. And that line goes from Abraham to David, and then David to Jesus. And it's pretty awesome because that is the point. It was a seed of faith and belief. The people in the Bible that we have, the genealogy of Jesus, all ties into people that believed and trusted God for their righteousness. And that is the point. right? So tomorrow we will continue on this topic, and we will talk, or not tomorrow, next week. So I will see you Monday next week. Have a great weekend.